Welcome, everybody, to Disney for Seniors. I'm here with my broadcasting friends, and I'm excited to do it. Of course, everybody should know Nancy and Dan coming in from the Disney for Seniors incredibly successful Facebook group. Thank you for being here tonight and joining us here for leading on this crusade that we're going to take. And of course, the amazing Jillian is down below coming across from the UK, one of the senior moderators and supporters of this incredible group. And we're going to talk a little bit of senior action. Of course, we didn't have one friend available. We had one spot open tonight at the last minute, so I just asked Goofy to sit in and keep an eye on us, and he said he will. Just because I just like somebody in the box, it makes me feel comfortable. So we did that. Dan was looking at when I was putting Goofy in the box. I saw Dan's look on his face was like, "What is going on here?" But that's okay. Nancy and Dan, how are you guys? First, welcome in.
We are good. Good to see you again, Pete. Thanks for having us.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm
we're doing
excited to
good.
do this.
And home for a whole month,
That's nice.
almost.
You know, that's good. That's good. I'm excited for this. And Miss Jillian, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, and glad that the weather in Florida has warmed up a little bit.
A little bit. It has. It was wet the other day on my last day there, but it's warmed up here in Maryland because it was almost 60 degrees today, and I said heck with it and just wore a t-shirt. I didn't care where I was going. I don't care if it started snowing. I was wearing a t-shirt trying to get back to that flow. So I'm excited about tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Disney cruising here with as far as it represents with our seniors community. So real quick, I'm just going to jump over and say hello to our chat here because I don't want to leave them out because without the chat, then it's just the three of us or four of us sitting here talking to ourselves. And I would rather be joining with the group. So Mike Beachman, hello. Debbie Bernfeld, hello. Monorail Molly, hello. Stitch Lover, welcome in. Thank you for joining tonight. Jason Thibodeau, Vicky Gillespie joining. Zippity Doo Doug, Molly's mom, Plymouth Rock, JC Skipper Brian, Jennifer Caruso, Nathan, hello. Regina Erie, Vicky Gillespie, welcome in. Plymouth Rock, I think I said you, but hello again. Surf Bomb, good to see you, John. Welcome in. Cakes 212, hello. Anne, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Julie McCowan's in the house with us here today. Dropping down real quick. Just don't want to miss anybody as I'm going through. Janice Disney, hello. Welcome in. Thank you for joining today. And Lamont Gray, welcome in. I think, did I get everybody? I think I did. Think I did. Jenna Evans, hello from Georgia. Welcome in, Jenna Evans from Georgia. Joel Brim is in the house as well. Amigo One, a lot of friends coming over from all sides of the park. So Nancy, Dan, you guys have done some Disney cruises. That's kind of what we're going to focus on tonight as we go through and start out this chat. I know you have. I'm just curious as we're laying this all out here. How many cruises have you guys done?
Cruises in total, we've done four together.
Okay.
Two on Disney Cruise Line, different ships, the
Okay.
Wish and the Fantasy,
Okay.
and then one on Celebrity, one on Royal Caribbean.
Okay. And Jillian, how about you?
We've done three, and they've all
Okay.
been with Disney.
All been with Disney. Okay, good. So you guys have a little bit more of the information than I do. I'm looking forward to learning some stuff tonight because I keep saying I'm going to do this cruise and to understand it both as a for those who are not seniors and those who are, I think will be a great thing. Dave Stragan, welcome in, buddy. All right, let's get into this. Let's first kind of jump into our topic. Why a Disney cruise for seniors? So, Dan, I'll start with you guys since your group is over there, and I know you've had a lot of input. And Dan will be also letting us know some of the great comments that they've had from over the Disney for Seniors Facebook group. We will also want to let everybody know before Dan answers that, out of respect for the privacy of the members of the group, it is a private group that we are not going to acknowledge their names. We will acknowledge their comments because they are valued and important, but we want to be respectful to all of them as we go through and welcome in Donna Lemon. So, Dan, Nancy, why a Disney cruise for seniors?
I'll start off the high level. It
Okay.
has pluses and minuses.
Okay.
It is not perfect, even if you're a so-called Disney nerd or Disney fan, lifelong, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not perfect,
Okay.
and we'll get into that. Even for especially for seniors, the overriding reason is I'll just go back to when Nancy and I went on the Disney Fantasy, which was it was February, so it's last month, still in
Okay.
February. When we boarded, and yes, we got the now we welcome the Powell family. Like you got that, right? Which is
Right.
great. And then we're hanging out because we had a noon or quarter after 12 boarding time.
Mm-hmm.
And the look on Nancy's face, mine too, but I can't see my face, so I see Nancy's face.
Okay.
But the look on her face and the look on everyone's face says it's not just a cruise, you are
Well, we lost
detail
we lost you.
Disney's famous for.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not into Disney, I would question why you would go, to be candid.
Okay.
But um, throughout the cruise, it is extremely rare, and this, on both occasions, you would see someone who's not smiling
Okay.
compared to the Disney parks, where you're walking around back and forth, this attraction, that attraction, so on. You're knackered, you're tired.
Mhm.
And towards the end, even middle of the afternoon, your stamina is almost gone. You might keep going, you might go back to your hotel resort to recharge, but you do see a lot of unhappy faces. But on both of the cruises that we've gone on, and for the record, both were a 4-night and a 5-night Bahamian cruise and Disney's private island,
Okay.
it was extremely rare that you would see someone who did not have a smile or
Okay.
that look of utter contentment. So it's the experience that we both had, but even observing everyone else on the cruise. And we certainly did not get that on the other two cruises that we mentioned that we've been on.
Okay.
Well, and I will add that, in comparing a senior that's going to the parks, and you really have to plan it all out, right? You have to, in order to not be disappointed. And a lot of seniors who are going to the parks will talk about they're not necessarily into the rides. I know when we had our meetup, a lot of the people there, they come frequently, live locally, and they may just walk around and get a bite to eat, or they want to have that experience of
Okay.
things that Disney offers. So the cruise provides that in just a very low key way, because you do have a set time for your meal, but you can pick and choose what you want to do. You've got characters available to you. You've got shows to see, all the stuff that you might be choosing to do at a park that are all right there. And then you add in that, if you go to, like, for me, the Disney cruise wins on in the Bahamas with their private islands, because having now been able to compare that to what is another popular private island with Royal Caribbean, their Coco Cay, the Perfect Day at Coco Cay, we've been able to compare that. And while that's a very nice place, it's a totally different experience
Okay.
for yeah.
For all the
So
way around.
yeah, so it's and just to, for me, the first cruise we went on, when we went on the Wish, which is going on 2 years ago, I had never been on a cruise and I wasn't even sure if I was going to like it. So that was us. We chose the Wish. We went for 4 nights. And the minute I got on the cruise, I felt that the idea of a cruise is fantastic. It wasn't that I was necessarily going to be it's Disney Cruise Line or nothing. And that was where, thus, we had other cruises planned. We had a cruise planned in Europe. And then we picked up going on a weekend cruise with Royal Caribbean in between there. So we've now, full circle going on the Fantasy when we did about a month ago, is just to compare the whole experience, as
And
from
right.
our perspective.
Okay.
So
Welcome into Ghost Host. Welcome into Mandy Mary. Hello. Welcome into Laura Jam, and also Coasty Quad Zeros. Welcome into you. Jillian, did you find the same thing where, when you're thinking about the cruising line, did the fact that you were a Disney lover make it more enjoyable for you right off the bat?
It absolutely did. And I think, speaking from a Brit perspective,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really changed how people in the UK perceive cruises, because traditionally, I would say probably 90 or 95% of the people who would cruise in the UK, sort of 1995 and prior to then, would be seniors only. It was seen as
Okay.
a retirement to do. When Disney launched the Magic, I went on in her inaugural year because it was Disney and I had to do it. But
Okay.
cruises and had never appealed to me, and it was never in my plan to do as a senior. It was the thing that I would not have wanted to do, and so I think, in a way, it's kind of changed the perception of certainly the UK market of cruises, and now lots of families will do it. They'll cruise from Southampton or Barcelona, do the European ones, and will take along grandparents with them. And I think that's a great thing about it, is that it can be like sort of multi-generational. You
Okay.
can go on your own to a seniors cruise just with your partner. You can go with your children, with your grandchildren. And I think it opens so many options. But I honestly would never have cruised if it hadn't been for Disney, because it did not appeal to me until I set foot on the
Yeah.
Magic. Yeah.
Okay, good deal. Phil Collins, welcome in. Max Webster, welcome in. So, okay, so Dan and Nancy, when we go back to you for a second, as we're looking at a cruise, you're on the boat. It's all inclusive. You're all your opportunities for meals and all are there. There's entertainment on the cruise, which can be not just for those young at heart. It can also be for seniors as well. It's kind of a no age told there. So you got entertainment, you got food. What are some of the other key things, key elements for a senior for saying, okay, this is why you should think about doing this cruise?
Well, for me, it depends on the ship.
Okay.
For example, the Disney Wish has outstanding theming. It really does.
Okay.
However, its adults only area is one of those with, and I'm trying to be respectful, as we try to do in our group, in our online community, but it's, what are they thinking? Because it's at one end, that's fine, but the pool is like an oversized hot tub
Okay.
that capacity of, I don't know, maybe 10, maybe. And that's even small for a cruise ship, folks. The seating area, there is negligible shading. And there's these things, I don't know, thing called skin cancer, where if you're going to be in the Caribbean, where the Disney Wish sails, seniors want shade. I know we do. And we're from Phoenix, Arizona, one of the sun capitals, where it does get up to 120 degrees in the summer of the US. So it makes a big difference. Whereas the Fantasy, their adults only area, phenomenal. It has totally really cushioned lounge chairs. It has multiple hot tubs and whirlpools. It has, as all the ships do, the Senses spa, which I am not a spa person. I tried it for the first time last month on the Fantasy. For me, it was okay, but I can understand how, if you're a spa person, how people rave about the Disney spa.
Okay.
There are little things that are for seniors. Like on the Wish, some acoustic guitar cast member just started playing in the adults only area. We didn't know he was going to be there, and it was fantastic. 45 minutes of acoustic guitar.
Okay.
So there are those things for adults that, for us, and again, as you mentioned, Pete, I wrote them down or typed them out. Comments from the Facebook group on both the pluses and minuses. But for many seniors, there are enough activities for seniors to be as enjoyable as a non-Disney cruise, even with the meeting other seniors.
Okay. Well, I want to come.
And
I want to go ahead, Nancy. I want to come back to that list too after we talk to Nancy and Jillian. I want to come back to that list and let's hit a couple of those topics. Go ahead, Nancy.
yeah, and I was, people ask me, we live in a 55 plus community.
We do.
And so people are like, oh, I wouldn't go on a Disney, the kids, all the kids are on. And so I think that's a question to be asked. But the one thing about Disney is they have amazing kids club that once that gets going, usually at, by day 2 on the cruise, you are not seeing kids unless you want to go track them down. Now, if you choose that you want to, wait in line for characters or picture kind of things, yeah, you're going to have families that
Mhm.
you're going to
Right.
be around kids and that. Um, and even like at dinner, they were very good about seating us with 2 other couples that were our age, and we had no children sitting in tables around us.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not that I don't like kids. I mean, obviously, you're going on a Disney cruise, you're going to have kids, and that's fine. But my point is that there are so many opportunities to make that feel like a adult experience, and it's low key. It's not busy, like being at the parks. You can find downtime, and even when the cruise ship is full, like the Wish, when we went on the Wish, it was sold out. It didn't feel horribly crowded.
Okay.
Like I can just only compare that to going on the Royal Caribbean cruise where it felt
Mm.
really heavily packed at different spots. And I didn't feel that at all on the Wish. You don't have that kind of dog eat dog mentality trying to get a seat or I mean, you do have to plan a little bit ahead to, on the shows for if you want a certain seating there. But and the cast members are so, it's just like being in the parks that way. I mean, even better, even
Okay.
better.
Love it.
I mean, just like the customer service on this last cruise blew my mind. Really, it
Okay.
did.
Good to know. Welcome into also coming in and joining us, Lada Rose, Jonathan Chong, Kolya, hello, welcome in. Amy DeBoard, hello, welcome in. Our good friend Kosti said 100% agree. Family cruising, ideal holiday to enjoy with grandparents as there's lots of family to enjoy. That's true. Let me ask Jillian, from your perspective, if you were to say, come to you and say, well, hey, why should seniors want to do Disney cruises? What would you say are some of your top thoughts?
I would say in the group, in our Disney for Seniors Facebook group, we see quite a few seniors who come to Disney and just do the resorts. They don't go to the parks, they'll come in and they'll enjoy the resorts, the restaurants, the food, and the really exemplary Disney customer service that you get.
Hmm.
And so I would say to those people, you can do that on a boat. It's similar to a resort stay. You've got the pools, you've got the bars, you've got the restaurants, you've got fantastic shows, you've got character interactions,
Oh,
and you can literally go on board and not spend a penny other than the gratuities that you're going to do, because all the soft drinks are included. Room service, you can have your meals brought to your room if you want as well, which is
wow.
sometimes a consideration. If you are a senior who's maybe got a disability or who needs some downtime, you can still enjoy the meals and the food and have room service brought to your room. So I would say it's very similar to a Disney resort stay that we know lots of our senior members love, but you've got changing scenery going past your porthole or your balcony every single day. So that for me, I think would be a big plus point for it. Yeah.
Excellent
And
points.
don't forget the free soft serve ice cream.
That's
Can't
definitely,
forget about that.
yeah,
And they
that's
come in
definitely,
multiple flavors, and
Yes,
I can
surprisingly.
tell everyone listening, compared to those other 2 cruise lines, which I mentioned earlier in the podcast that Nancy and I went on, their soft serve ice cream, one had it free and one charged for it,
okay.
didn't hold a candle
There
to
you
the
go.
soft serve ice cream on the Disney Fantasy. We had 8 or 9 different flavors on the Fantasy.
Okay.
Very yummy.
Love it. Love
And the
it. Love it.
calories don't count when you're on a Disney theme park. The calories didn't count when you're on a Disney cruise ship either. So
They
that's
don't count either way. Welcome into Robin Sprite. If you're joining throughout the night, we'll be dropping the link in for the Disney for Seniors Facebook group a little later on in the stream. We are going to talk about the fact of coming up on an anniversary, and there's some good stuff going on. And I will ask a little bit later on in the show, if you hang tight, I'm going to ask Dan to elaborate a little bit on that with he and Nancy, because they got some celebrations coming up, which is good stuff there. Let's speaking of the group, let's go over to a couple of those comments. Dan, you took the time to print some of those out from some of those amazing people in your group that had some input on this topic.
sure, absolutely. So, knowing this was salute to Disney Cruise Week in the
Okay.
Facebook group. I decided every day to do either a poll or just a question asking for feedback. And so first, the list will go down because we're talking about why a Disney cruise. Then for seniors, here's a few of the comments. So I'll just quote. I love being on a ship that is surrounded by Disney. It shows the characters. I like that they cater to my gluten allergy and I can
Oh,
eat.
okay.
Next one, I like the fact that people are not drunk and puking all over as I have seen on other ships. I like that it is family oriented and no gambling on board except for bingo.
Okay.
You gotta have
There's
bingo.
bingo. Okay.
I love the food. Another one. I love the food because Disney for gluten free is unbeatable. And then here's the point I know Nancy wants to get into is the cabins are amazing with the split bathrooms.
Oh,
Yeah, well, and I'm going to back up to the gluten-free thing. So I don't have any allergies or anything, but there was one of the couples that was seated with us for our dinners. The spouse, she
Mm,
had some significant allergies, and they've gone on a lot of Disney cruises, and the wait staff was very aware of that and talked about the menu, right away, and the things that were on it. And they even made sure there was a meal for her at Castaway Cay to pick up. So at both the islands, actually. So it
outstanding.
was, just as, I've seen the chefs do that at the restaurants at Disney World as well, because we were traveling with a family that one of their sons had a lot of allergies as well.
okay.
But it's, that's a big deal. You're going to be on a boat for 3, 5, 13 days. You want to know that you're going to be able to find food and not have to maybe eat the same thing over and over
Yep.
again.
And just quickly, towards that end, two more comments from members of Disney for Seniors Facebook group. This one person wrote, while I know that cruises can spread illness, I feel Disney goes the extra mile to prevent it, which is true because year after year, various cruise industries do surveys of cleanliness rankings of cruise lines.
Okay.
And Disney is always up there, one or two or three, if not
Okay.
always one or two. Phenomenal job. And then the
Okay.
last point I can make at this point is this comment. The ship is accessible. There are accessible staterooms, and booking cast members will help you ensure you have everything you need while on the cruise. You can arrange for help to get to and from the cruise terminal if you wish. There will, no pun intended, Disney wish. And they will also help you board and disembark if you need it,
Okay.
especially
That's
comparing trying to get around a Disney theme park and the size, whether it's Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, and so on, or in the parks in Disney World, to a cruise ship. There is no contest about which one you are not going to become knackered and fatigued and just drained throughout the
okay.
day because everything is a lot closer.
Yeah.
A lot closer.
Okay.
Okay, Jillian, Debbie asked a question. Maybe you could throw a little insight there. It says, would you recommend or have any advice for a senior going on a Disney cruise just by herself? Now, I did see that Jan put in there just a minute ago into the chat about, hey, Debbie, I would go by myself, but unfortunately the price is double when I checked it out. So I don't know, Jillian, if you have any insight on that at all by chance, or if not,
Uh,
we'll go back to Dan.
Yeah, in terms of pricing, I don't. But in terms of going on your own, I think referencing what Nancy said earlier, everybody's smiling. So people there, on the cruise, generally speaking, are very friendly. You
Hmm.
might meet other people over dinner. And a lot of people do the fish extenders where they have gifts on their doors and magnets that they share with other people.
Mm,
And it's quite easy to join a group for your cruise. There's lots of groups set up specifically for your cruise. You can meet other people. You can decide to be part of the fish extender exchange or the gift exchange and meet people that way. So there are
okay.
ways to like connect with other people. But in terms of pricing, that might be something Nancy and Dan would have a better idea about.
Yeah, unlike Norwegian Cruise Line, which does have on its newer ships
Single.
individual cabins for solo travelers, and
Okay.
I'm sure there are others, but they're the only one that I've heard of who does. With Disney solo traveling, compared to anywhere else, you're on a cruise ship, you're going to be safe. So from that safety perspective of
Right.
being say a solo traveler, but you will have to pay double the price because they price out the cabins by the first two guests and then three and four depending on the deal, the sale
From
they've
there,
got.
yeah. Right.
But if you're a solo traveler, you want to book a cabin, you're paying for the first two people, even if there's just you. So
Now,
that is a significant downside.
so when you're going on the cruises and everything, you mentioned that the different groups, like Jillian mentioned, different groups and things are going on. Do they give you all this information of all the different things that are going on, and you kind of build your cruise? Is it kind of like a Disney trip in that way?
Somewhat. I mean, and this is the same with any of the cruises actually, cruise lines, because we've done Celebrity and we've done Royal Caribbean, is that um, when you get on the ship, the app that you've been using to do the things you can do from home will then show everything that is going on every day, and then you can you know heart the things you want. So you basically create a list of things you want to do, because there's so much
Okay.
um, you know throughout the day that you could be doing. And so yeah, no, you don't see all of that ahead of time. But I would say to anybody who has never cruised, there's unlimited things available to do.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and towards that end, for adults and seniors before the cruise, the certain of the upcharge
oh yeah,
activities may sell out. Things like alcohol tasting, whether it's chocolate and
yeah, we did a chocolate and liqueur. They have
chocolate
wine
liqueur. There's
tasting.
wine tastings.
They have a lot of those different. I mean, they're an upcharge, but it's kind of a fun thing to add. You
Okay.
know,
The meals at Apollo. Now, if you're, I think it's a Pearl, maybe Platinum, you get one free meal at Apollo. Apollo is their upcharge restaurant. And then depending on the ship, there would be either Remy or I'm having
Enchante,
Enchante, thank you,
Enchante.
Enchante, that are upcharge restaurants. We've had two meals at Apollo. But again, those reservations you can make before you board, depending upon your Castaway Club status, number of cruises you've done with Disney. But those tend to sell out early, so you want to do those before you board if possible. Or the Bippity Boppity Boutique or the Royal Gathering,
There's a
a,
lot of
a
yeah.
lot of
There's a
activities
lot
that's
of
more for
things to do.
children.
Okay.
But the hour by hour or half hour by half hour schedule, everything that's available,
Yeah, there's
Okay.
that's
just all
no
kinds of
charge.
stuff.
It's just a laundry list day after day after day. And if you want to do some of them, great. Just
Yeah,
go and attend.
yeah.
And if you don't want to, great. Then lounge by the pool or in the hot tub
And
or
a
at
lot of
Centuries.
the
So,
stuff, I mean, they have a lot of activities that are just for adults as well. Like it might be trivia or just different things that
Okay.
and they'll state on them whether they're for families, because the kids under the age of 17 have endless things to do in the kids club. So there's activities going on there
I
all day
love that.
long.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the whole adult pool area so it's not like you have to go, that's the other, I mean, a lot of cruise lines have spaces like that, but it's just, that's really a nice thing is that, and the one on the Fantasy was quite large. It was 2 levels and a lot of shade. And they also
Okay.
have a place you can get coffee and snacks. That's all 18 and over. So
I think I'd like to get one of our future shows to be able where we talk about all the pre-planning stuff and maybe the boarding stuff that could go on for some of the seniors that want to do this. I know one
yeah,
person from over on our side of the YouTube community that we could bring in that would be a great person to add a lot to this chat would be Jennifer Caruso. She does a lot of the Disney cruises and goes a long while, and she would be in this. That's
yep.
I know she's in the chat right now, bringing a lot to it. She was just commenting on our comment just a minute there. Yes, you need to board the ship to see it all, and sometimes you can only see it the day at a time, kind of like you were saying as far as the app goes. So let's switch for a second because we're working on an hours thing here and kind of getting into this thing as we go along to it. And I'm seeing there's a lot more to cruising than I ever thought. So this is kind of cool. But let's talk about why not a Disney cruise. I'm gonna ask Julian to go first on this. Julian, if you were to say, okay, what would you say is why not a Disney cruise? As I guess it applies more to Disney for seniors than anything. That would be good. What would you say?
I would say if the things against doing a Disney cruise would be if you don't like Disney and you don't like the characters, then it's not the thing for you to do.
Definitely.
Um, yeah, and I would also say that I mean, some seniors may want the peace and tranquility of it being adults only. I know, as Nancy has said, a lot of the children and young people tend to be in the clubs and doing all that kind of thing. But if you want to have a completely adult only experience, then Disney wouldn't be the cruise for you, and maybe look at something like Virgin Voyages that are adult only instead.
Okay, good points. Good points. Pops
Mhm.
Disney Adventures coming to us out of California. Great channel out there. Dropping in to leave a like. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Pops, for stopping, drop by. We love your channel. Nancy and Dan, what about you? If we were going to throw out to you and say, well, why not a Disney cruise? For me, I would have to say gambling. If you're
Yeah,
an adult or a senior
yeah,
that loves gambling, that probably jumps out at
gambling.
me. But how about you guys?
I would say that, I mean, for me, gambling's not it. And I mean, I'm not good at gambling. I'm not a winner. So I guess if I was a big winner, maybe I would be like totally sold on it. But the other thing is that I appreciate that there is no casino because I really detest that I have to walk past a space or through a space where there's people smoking. So
Mm,
it's like that spot, that not being there is a plus for me. But if for Disney, I love Disney cruises, but if I'm choosing an itinerary, like I want to go to Europe and or go back to Greece, we did that. I don't Disney isn't necessarily gonna be my choice
okay.
because it is super expensive. And so I can see how people would look at it that way. You have a lot of choices that would be, considered on the same on par with Disney. And, when you're choosing an itinerary where it's about where you're going, if that makes sense,
Yes.
versus cruise part of it. So, like, if you're going to,
Oh, the Greek islands, that would be.
yeah, so like when we went to Greece, you have stops every day. The ship really for us was about having a space to sleep. It was transportation, it was food. I would have been lost on all the other stuff that would be included to be on a Disney cruise because you're getting up the next morning to go do an excursion. So that's a negative, I feel. It
Okay.
really has to do with your itinerary of what you're wanting to see. I mean, I feel like for me, Disney wins hands down going to the Caribbean or the Bahamas. I mean, just absolutely. So, but
Okay.
it is a price thing too. So,
Okay.
And that is the most common negative to Disney cruises from the feedback that we received within the Disney for Seniors Facebook group. Number one, time and again, that, for example, again, I'll just read some of the comments
Go
I
ahead,
listed down
please.
from the members. Love cruises, but I can afford 2 cruises on most other lines compared to Disney. And that's pretty accurate for a lot of them. Not 100% accurate. What I mean by that is you do get more on a Disney cruise for your money. As Jillian said, the free soda, you do not need to buy a soda or soft drink beverage package. Yes, I
Okay.
mentioned my favorite, the free soft serve ice cream, and it's very good soft serve ice cream. So Disney does not nickel and dime you. We may get to it tonight, but if not, I'll just mention it real quick. Their Private Island Castaway Key, or in the Eleuthera now, Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point, there's no upcharge water park like there is on some other cruise lines' private islands.
Yeah, we're going to
Go
get to
wherever you
that in the
want.
next
Free to
segment
go
for sure.
wherever you
yeah,
want to.
yeah, you get to
That's
experience. Yeah, so the up charges, I think sometimes you know, for any of the other two cruises we've gone on, yeah, you look at the price and initially it looks like you're getting a great deal. And then you start adding in this drink package, that whatever. There's a lot of little nickel and diming, which Disney's been pretty good about staying away from.
Okay.
And so, you know, I think you really have to look at the numbers closely. The other thing is that's kind of tricky is, so if you were to go on Disney Cruise Line's website and look up a cruise that you're interested in, that price you see is for two. It's not, you're going to double that price. That's for the stateroom based on two people in it.
Which is two
If you
people.
go on other sites, that is not the price they're providing you, a per person price.
Okay.
So it can look a little shocking, but then when you add it up and you look at it, and then
It does, you know.
the other part of it is that, back to Disney pricing, I guess, is that split bathroom. Oh, the split bathrooms in the staterooms, almost all of the staterooms have split bathrooms. That is really hard to find that. You're going to be looking at a luxury cruise line to get to that level.
Okay. Welcome into real quick to Diane, to Ellie, to Paul Engel, and to Nanny Pooh Bear. Thank you all for joining us tonight here. As you're thinking about, you know, not a cruise for seniors and the drink packages as you get to seniors, most may either really like to have a beverage or just not have a beverage. Jillian, do you think that makes a huge difference as seniors are planning it, or are they more looking at some of the opportunities for inclusion of being a part and interacting with more people? Is it more the food or the interaction that drives it? What do you think?
I would think, given Disney's reputation for food, I think the food's really, really important for people. The quality in the restaurants is excellent. So I think that does drive it a little bit. I think people who are looking for interaction in places like in casinos aren't going to pick a Disney cruise because they don't have that there. So I think one of the big things for me, I think, is going back to what Nancy said about the itinerary. I think it depends as a senior what you want out of visiting other countries or other locations. So if you want to just dip in quickly, jump off the ship for 6 hours, get on a bus to go look at one thing and come back, then I
Hmm.
think a cruise is great. But if you're a type of senior who wants to actually immerse themselves in the culture a little bit more, maybe visit some more museums and see a little bit more, then I think any cruise, is going to a bit more difficult providing that, and that's where I think choosing your itinerary comes in really carefully.
Okay, that's great points. Great points. I also saw Fred O'Malley just joined us here. A lot of friends coming in tonight. Neil, oh, listen, Neil, hello, Neil. Great to see you, and Dave's Disney Dreams as well. Uh, Dan, what do we have over there from the group, from the Disney for Seniors Facebook group? It is their time. It's their time right now to put their comments out there. I'd like to hear some more for that, and then I want to answer Julie's question here in just a minute. Why don't you go ahead with
Sure.
that?
Well, I noticed in the comments, Jonathan said exactly what Nancy and I and Jillian all say, that if you're going to the Mediterranean, you're not going to be staying on the ship. You're going to the Mediterranean because of the destination.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Therefore, why pay double? Now, I could counter that by saying, if I'm a parent or a grandparent, and as an adult, I want to go see, I don't know, I want to see Europe. I'll just keep picking on Europe. I want to see Europe. Well, I want to be able to give my youngins a carrot
Okay.
where they're not interested in museums.
Mm-hmm.
They're not interested in going on the bus for an hour and then going walking around Ephesus, which is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But if you're a youngin, and that's a lot of walk. Well, if you're doing Disney, that would be the carrot for them. They know Disney. So
Okay.
that would be one con if you're going on a multi-gen trip. Then I can see how Disney could be enticing. But other comments from the group are things like, we love the dining room rotations and themes. However, being tied to set times for Disney dinners is something too rigid for us. We
Okay.
like flexibility
Yeah.
and freestyle dining. There was another one that caught my eye, that two others. One was that Disney does not change. What do you mean change? Disney does not change. It's the same music in the adults area every cruise. It's the same questions
Okay.
on the trivias, one cruise to the next.
Okay.
So that was another comment or criticism about Disney Cruise Line. For those that go on, numerous. We have members who have gone on no cruises at all. We have members that have gone on 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, more than 30 Disney cruises. And so that's coming from them. The other one is I would like more organized activities available for adults that I receive on other cruises. For example, on my last celebrity cruise, I went to an exercise class in the pool. I went to hands-on pizza making class in their galleys. I attended lectures from an expert about marine life. How cool would that be to
Wow.
attend a lecture from a Disney legend?
Yeah.
I made a macrame plant holder. I went to dance classes by the pool. The pizza class, the only thing I had nominal charge for. I could have done glass blowing for
Whoa.
an charge.
Wow.
Ballroom dance lessons, other craft classes, lectures about art, cooking classes. So other cruise lines do have more senior focused activities than Disney does,
Okay.
notwithstanding the repositioning cruises, where it's many more days at sea. Where Disney, we've been told, because we've never done a repositioning cruise on ever, let alone on Disney, Nancy or I, but
Right.
they've been told and some research that there are more activities and tend to be more activities for seniors and adults on those cruises. Well, why not bring them on to the short cruises? Because seniors like to go on short cruises too. A Disney legend on a
Right.
cruise, giving a lecture, what it was like
Be
to
a great
work
thing.
with Mr. Disney, or to work on this film, or that film,
Yeah.
or this project, or that project. Imagineers. The unlimited number of lectures that are Disney focused that adults and seniors would crave.
Yeah.
That why doesn't Disney Cruise Line do more of those?
Be all the
I
good
hope
things
they're
happen.
listening.
I hope they're listening. Jillian, Julie asked, does Disney have a lot of upcharges similar to some cruise lines? Do they have a lot of upcharges?
Right. Well, I've not been on any other cruise lines other than Disney, and I don't drink alcohol, so I've not found there's been many upcharges other than things. The things that I'd take advantage of would be maybe the upcharge dining to somewhere like Paolo. So I'd maybe pay an upcharge for something like that, and for the spa. So when we go on the cruise, we normally buy a pass for the whole length of the cruise to go into the spa and use the steam rooms and the relaxation areas. So they'd be the kind of upcharges I'm familiar with. Dan and Nancy may know if there are any others.
Are there any other ones that you guys are aware of, Dan or Nancy? In
No,
response to
and
that?
I would say that, I mean, you got the drink tastings and, if you want to do Palo, or the two specialty restaurants they have, or go play bingo, but that kind of stuff's going to cost you no matter where you are. But I
Yeah.
would say there's enough to do for free that included in your cruise fare that you don't have to feel like you have to upcharge. I was left, I would say, well, actually, any of the cruise lines we've been on, because the rotation dining is in one big dining room most of the time if you just stick with the dining that is provided. Now, there's a cruise line out there that does freestyle dining that does have a few other options, but then they also have upcharges to, some of the other restaurants. So
Right.
when we've done the other cruise lines, you felt like, you want to try something because you're just, otherwise you're in the same dining room meal after meal. And so I feel like you can do that and just, you still be able to eat or go to the buffet, but I don't know, I feel like there's a little more pressure to want to do some of the upcharges. Otherwise it starts to get a little monotonous. And the other thing I will say that Dan alluded to too is the other very popular private island that is not Disney's in the Bahamas There are so many things on that island that are so cool looking. They're all upcharges and huge upcharges.
Okay.
So it's like you know if you were a multi-generational family and you get off the boat there, your younger ones are not going to understand why you're not spending over $100 per person to go do some of the things there. So that could get outrageously expensive. So
Okay. Good points. Good points. Switching topics again, we try to continue to work on a quarter of a show as we bring our different topics to you. Dan alluded to it a little bit earlier with Nancy, and I kind of like to go over and get Jillian's thought first, and I'll go back to Dan and Nancy. I want to talk about Disney's private island and the private peninsula that they have, and how that plays into your enjoyment and as on the cruises and how seniors would do. Real quick, Diane says, I don't mean to toot celebrities horn again, but with a dark package tag, they get unlimited access to upscale coffee bar and gelato bar. Very adult friendly. There you go. What about
And
the?
you know what else, Pete?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. You know what else celebrity, at least the cruise we went on, has that Disney does not have?
What's that?
Yes, Disney has the soft serve ice cream, and it is very, very tasty. But on Celebrity, they had free ice cream,
like a whole ice cream
a,
bars.
a real ice cream
Yeah.
that, what scoop do you want? And right in the main, not cafeteria, but the main buffet area, and there was a person that would scoop it for you and put the sprinkles on for you.
Yeah.
That was excellent, which surprised me.
I love that.
Again, we had some good and some not so good dishes with
Okay.
Celebrity, but that one was.
Very good.
Mhm.
Orange Grove 55 says, hello, I'm stuck at work, sadly, LOL, but wanted to drop in and show some love. Have a great stream, everyone. Thank you, Orange Grove 55, for joining us. Everybody, make sure you've hit that like and let our friends know here that you're enjoying and having a good time. We always try to hit triple digits or more. We're at 54 right now. We can bump that up to 70 real quick if everybody hits the number. So, Jillian, tell me a little bit about Disney's private island or the private peninsula from your standpoint.
Well, for me, Castaway Key is probably one of the main reasons that I would cruise with Disney. Um, I think it's just so relaxing. You
Okay.
can hire, bikes that you can go on. There's a great play area for children to use. They've got a family beach. They've got an adults beach there as well. If you want to treat yourself, you can have they've got sort of cabanas that are on the adult beach with the doors open where you can have a massage and look out at the ocean, which is, it's an upcharge for that, but it's a really great experience. And it just feels so natural. I enjoy being in nature and just the beaches and the water. It is beautiful. It does feel like a private island because there are just the people that are on the ship there.
Okay.
And the food's still included. The food on the island is good. So for me, that is my favourite stop. If they did a cruise that did 6 stops at Castaway Key, I'd be booking that tomorrow. I'd be on it. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
I gotcha. Dan, Nancy, how about talk a little bit about the private island and the private peninsula?
Well, Nancy would have to because I was self-quarantining that day. I had a bad head cold.
Oh,
It would have
I'm
to be
sorry.
Nancy.
The
Okay.
new so that Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, what a mouthful. Anyways, it's beautiful. Yeah, there is the walk across the pier, but they do have transportation like golf carts to take people that need that. The beach it's pristine. That's all I can say. I mean, I love Castaway Key, but the beach at Lookout Key is it's just unbelievable. And the water was so clear, even going across the pier. I mean, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it's too bad we can't just, stay a couple of days there.
Right. Absolutely.
And they only allow one ship at a time. So hopefully Disney stays true to that, because that, makes the difference as well. You're just dealing with, your ship and that amount of people there.
Okay.
Nancy, I'm noticing that there was a comment from Diane that says, okay, those videos of legit YouTubers, what? We're not legit YouTubers? Okay. Diane, I'm funning with you. But showing those flies infesting on the island buffet, I cannot. What was your experience with any flies?
Yeah, so I did not have that problem. they definitely have managed that, because I was very concerned about that from the videos I saw
Yes.
initially too. But it's no, it's not anything like I saw in the videos. I mean, I can't
Right.
guarantee that someone's not going to have that experience, but whatever was feeding that fire, Disney's been on top of for sure.
And Amiga One asked about the water parks. I don't think there's any water parks down there at the private islands, is there? I know there's
A
scuba
true
diving and other things like that, but
Right.
No,
A true water park that Perfect Day
yeah, Coco
at
Cay.
Coco Cay
They
has
don't
the
have
upcharge
anything.
water park. No,
No,
there's
they don't
not.
have that.
I mean, they do have a water slide they have to swim up to get to it. What I will add, though, however, and Disney, I seriously hope you are listening, because they need to do some work on Serenity Bay area, the adult area at Castaway Cay, even though fan of Castaway Cay, because when we were there in February to use the loungers, the loungers were on a 30 to 40 degree slope, so you're like this
They're dealing with the erosion
because the
there.
erosion,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
okay.
then the water.
because it faces a different angle on Castaway Key. So it yeah, it was surprising. I mean, I had heard the hurricanes that have come through there. They're battling that, and Disney's in the process of building some additional cabanas out that way. So I have a feeling they have a plan, because, at some point there's not going to be anywhere to put the loungers if they don't, deal with that beach space. But
Right.
on the family side is so enormous that,
That's where we went
yeah,
after
they have
having
so many
going out to
loungers,
Serenity
and
Bay.
yeah, so we just went there, and I mean, it's huge, but
Okay.
it is something they're going to have to deal with.
Yep.
What did some of the friends from your Facebook group have to say in reference? Do we have much from them, feedback from them on the private
On
island or
the
the
private
places?
islands, not specifically.
Okay.
And that's my fault, because you know what? I never really asked them.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go. I want to talk real quick here. This hour goes by so fast, and maybe we'll come back to cruises again next month and go back into that, because it seems like a very hot topic. We've had a lot of people in the chat engaging and all, but I want to talk for a second, real quick, on your Facebook group. You are starting a celebration for your anniversary coming up over there on your Facebook group. You're 80 plus thousand strong over there. And as I said to you before the show, and I actually had this conversation with Monorail Molly just the other day about how impressive it is for the engagement that you do have over there. So many people feel comfortable enough to get involved and to react and to engage. Tell everybody a little bit about your celebration you have coming up.
Sure. Well, we're still hiding a few details, building excitement, etc. However, what I can announce here that I've not yet done within the Disney for Seniors Facebook group is that we have secured a sponsor in the Walt Disney World area who has given us 3 2-night stays at their hotel
Oh, nice.
in the Walt Disney World area,
Very nice.
and including comping any parking charges.
Oh,
If
very
someone,
nice.
if it's a local, say, wants to go for a 2-day weekend and so on. That's huge, because right there, we're talking over $500. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so we're very fortunate that because of our community, and not just how we've grown, but the community nature of the Facebook group, that the sponsor felt comfortable to be associated with our Facebook group. So that is an online giveaway over 13 days that'll start mid-March. Early next week, we will have more details about it,
Okay.
and
Love it.
naming who the sponsor is and so on. And I will also say this: we approached the sponsor of the giveaway because anytime a group member, and group members might think that we don't read, yeah, we go through all of the stuff eventually, and all the comments and all the postings. But there was not one comment negative about a group member's stay at this particular hotel.
Okay.
Everybody recommended it to someone on a post saying, where should I stay? And so on and so forth. Just like our very first sponsor, Park Hopper Choppers, we selected them mostly because of the incredible customer service story that someone had told me, which put them on my radar. We only want to deal with quality, and it's based on the feedback of group members and what they have to say.
Love it.
So it's an incredible 3 awards, 2 nights in any of their room types. It's not just on the smallest room that's next to the boiler. Do hotels still have boilers? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's hidden in the basement somewhere. No, it's any of their rooms. And so all will be revealed next week and next weekend before the giveaway over 13 days starts in earnest. But we're
Love it. Love
very
it. Love it.
excited.
Welcome into Lisa Marie Tarango and Stephanie Keel. Stephanie, we'll get to that on the next show. Stephanie was asking about. We touched a little bit about that at the beginning part of the show with in reference to kids and not kids areas. We did talk a little bit about that. We could dig into more of that next time on the show. If you're enjoying what we're doing, I would definitely say, hey, over here, go into the Facebook group over there, and when we post the upcoming shows, put into there some of the topics you'd like to see us talk about. Dan did a real good job of pulling a lot of those comments in. If you want your name said, you can more than happy to tell Dan in the comment, hey, you can tell my name. We're going to respect those over there as part of the way Dan and Nancy run their group. But if you'd like your name to be a part of it, and that's important to you, we more than welcome. Or you can just come in here and say, hey, that's my comment. You could also do that. That should be a wonderful thing as well. We want to acknowledge you and make sure that you know that your voices are being heard over on Disney for Seniors. The way we usually do it every time is we do a little final thought of the night as we come. We're already at the 7 o'clock hour, unbelievably that quick. Here we got more to come on upcoming shows on this and to keep it going. Jillian, just a thought. It's our first time talking about cruises, and obviously we can dig deeper more into it in upcoming shows. But just your thought. Would you, as a final thought, tell people you should go, get on your horse, don't be nervous? What's your final thought of the night in looking at the initial thoughts on Disney cruising?
I would say if you love Disney and you love the characters and the dining experiences, just book it and do it. Even if you don't want to do lots of shore excursions, just take it as a wonderful resort, but you're actually moving on the sea.
Love it. Love it. I'm going to go to Nancy first because I'm sure Dan has something to say. But Nancy, and also Nancy, if you didn't know, if you want Dan to clean the yard, give him ice cream. Go ahead.
Oh, I know. Yeah, we have an ice cream limit in this house. That's funny. That is very funny. Yeah, to get to the thing that everybody's worried about, being around too many children or screaming children, it's not there. Anytime I'm at the parks, I always have a day where I'm like, I've just had enough. I mean, I have a great time, but I've just had enough. So it's not there. Take the chance.
Okay.
You'll have a great time. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
And what I would say is, if you're on the fence, because again, certain people get seasick easily, even though we never have, but they do. Don't push yourself and don't force yourself and say, well, Dan and Nancy said and Jillian said to go, so I went. I had a crappy time. No. So that. But if you're on the fence, do not go on the newest ships because they cost a lot more money. Okay, go on the Magic, the Fantasy. Oh, by the way, next time we'll show some of those charts. But the Disney Fantasy was the #1 choice of a poll that we ran in the Disney for Seniors Facebook group on what is your favorite ship that you've been on, and having been on multiple ships. Disney Fantasy by far.
Okay.
Go during a time period when kids will be in school. So there'll be fewer kids on the ship if that is another of your concern. So you can talk, January, early February, September after Labor Day, for example.
May
First week of
time.
May, another one. So you can pick your spots. You don't have to go July 4th on a cruise. Don't. You wouldn't go to a Disney park on July 4th. So don't go on a Disney cruise on July 4th.
Good point.
Take your thoughts.
Yeah.
But we are big fans. Yes, it is more expensive. We believe it's worth, but are we going every month on Disney cruise? No. I'm just a retired senior on a small fixed pension, a Medicare card carrying senior with a couple of hobbies. So no, but pick your spots. But we thoroughly enjoy it. In the end, it's rare to see anyone on Disney cruise who is not smiling, of any age, who's not walking around with a big, goofy grin.
Yep.
Goofy, you don't see too much today, but with a big, goofy grin on their face, walking around all day, all night. It's just a wonderful, endearing. One could say it's the way that Mr. Disney, now nobody here on this podcast knows him, but it's the way we think Mr. Disney envisioned Disneyland, where everyone's having a fantastic time, a genuine, endearing time, being with each other. That's what life's about. And seniors, you've earned it. These are your golden years.
I love that. Love that. Well, I thank you for another great show of partnering over here with us and being able to bring some of the highlights and comments from those in your group. And I hope we continue to do that and grow. And we had a lot more people here this time on our second show. I think they're starting to hear about it a little bit and wanting to come over. We'll talk about that after the stream. Again, I ask everybody, if you're watching on the replay or watching live, we have this set up as a podcast now as well on the channel where you can come in and just listen at any time and listen to the episodes back to back. One, tell a friend. If you have friends that have seniors that in the family that like going to Disney, or people at work or neighbors or somebody you know from the local grocery store when you go over there, or Walmart or Target when you're shopping, and you see friends that you know that are big into Disney, tell them about Dan and Nancy's group, Disney for Seniors. Easy to find. Simple and easy, Disney for Seniors over on Facebook over there. And of course, you can find us over here, and we'll be talking a lot more about it on our next episode of Disney for Seniors. Nancy and Dan, I thank you. Jillian, I thank you for coming in. And if you're not subscribed to us, please do so. I'll give one question left. Samir Brown says, would you do an April cruise or December on Disney? Nancy, Dan, Jillian, I'll go in your order. We'll let the ladies go first. Jillian, April cruise or a December on Disney?
If April had Easter, I would do December.
Okay, there we go. Nancy?
Oh, that's hard. I guess I would choose April.
April. Okay. And Dan?
Since I'm a retired Medicare card carrying senior with small little pension, couple of hobbies, I would choose April because Disney is going to upcharge you up and down the wazoo for their Christmas cruises. They do add a premium to Christmas cruises, Halloween cruises, and so on. But if I can find an incredible benefactor who would like to fund myself and, yes, my betrothed to experience a Christmas cruise on Disney, call me.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
We'll see everybody on the next show. Thank you. Park Hopper Choppers is one of your sponsors and one of our friends. We thank them. We'll be back. I'll be back here in just a minute with my friends backstage. To you all, make sure you're following. Make sure you're following the Facebook group over there, and you'll know when we're doing our next show. We'll pick out our date for March and get that posted pretty soon. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you next time.
Hello everyone, it's Chris with Park Hopper Choppers. If you're headed down to Central Florida and you need a mobility scooter, give us a call, 407-989-9618. We can bring it right to your resort, right to the park, or right to your Airbnb, no problem. We were voted best mobility scooter rental in Central Florida by my mom. Give us a call.
Thanks, Musketeers, for joining the party. We'll be looking for you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, all.